Let's start with B-roll. So today we're talking about e-bikes, and I'm gonna try to give you the history of e-bikes in 90 seconds. Ready? Go. So when e-bikes came out, it's only been 10 years or so, but the first round of e-bikes were big, heavy, and powerful. We're talking 85 Newton meters of torque, longer travel full suspension bikes, and we're talking bikes that weighed, maybe high 40s, but most of them were into the mid 50s. Those bikes rode differently, so all of us were seeking out a bike that rode more familiar, it rode more like the lighter weight acoustic bikes that we had been riding forever. So the new generation of lightweight bikes came out, but they were often underpowered, under battery, and under biked. They had to make too many compromises to get the weight down, so it didn't quite deliver. Now we are here at the Goldilocks era of e-bikes, the mid-power, where we've got 60 Newton meter bikes that ride in the high 30s to low 40s. They kind of give you the best of both. And that brings me to today's bike, the brand new Santa Cruz Heckler SL. So before we get into the specifics of this bike, let's talk about what rider this bike is for. This bike will appeal to two categories of riders. We still have riders out there kind of sitting on the fence waiting to see if e-bikes are right for them. We'll call them the e-curious riders. Second category of riders that I think are going to be attracted to this are those of us early adopters that have been riding full power bikes for a while. When the first lightweight bikes came out, I really thought this was going to sort of take over and be the new e-bike. But it turns out those full power bikes are a lot of fun. That weight, that power, it really keeps you stuck to the ground, and it's a little bit different riding style that's a lot of fun. But it doesn't always apply in every trail condition, and there are plenty of areas out there where nimble riding, being able to change direction, change speed quickly, gives you a bit more control and fun, and the big, cumbersome kind of bull in a china shop full power bikes aren't at their best. So let's get into the specifics of this bike. Let's start with the battery motor system. It's built on the Fazua Ride 60 platform. As in the name, has a 60 Newton meter motor, that's the torque. Battery range is 430 watt hours, which is pretty good on its own. Again, for comparison's sake, your full power bikes are high 600, low 700 watt hours. Not as big a battery, but because the motor's not as powerful, it's not drawing as much, so that's why you're able to still get really good range out of a lighter weight system. There is no head unit on this bike, which I actually prefer because it cleans up your cockpit view. And you get all the information that you need out of the top tube display. Uses colors to tell you what mode you're in. Also, kind of a neat feature, you can pop that little piece out. You have a USB-C charger, so you can charge a phone or a Garmin or something off of your battery. And then the last component is the thumb controller. Super easy to use and intuitive right next to your left handlebar. I've been lucky enough to ride a lot of the e-systems out there, so I'm pretty familiar with kind of the feel and how they all work. And where this bike stands out is it is the most natural feeling in terms of its power application. So it has a slower ramp up, it matches you, it lets you as the rider lead with your power. Coming from full power bikes that really have a lot of get up and go and kind of have that lurch forward, but for a rider coming off of an acoustic bike, this is gonna feel very natural, very familiar, very under control, and you can really feel kind of the resistance at the right points in your pedal stroke, but you are still going faster and it's giving you the support you need to get up the steep stuff. Santa Cruz has attached this to their best-in-class suspension system, right? They use their VPP bikes. This bike is built around a Bronson or similar to a Heckler in its geometry and its travel. It's got 160 mil travel front fork. It's got 150 mil travel as a rear in the back. It's a little bit slacker than those bikes that I mentioned, so we're talking low 64 degrees for the head angle. It's about 5 mil longer, than the Bronson or the full power Heckler. And then the other nice thing about this bike over the full power Heckler is it does get the size specific chainstays. So really spot on current modern geometry, like it nails everything that I want. It's got perfect travel. And then the weight comes in right at 41.5 pounds out of the box with no pedals. As you add stuff, obviously you'll add a bit of weight. So it's a pretty balanced all around perfect Goldilocks package. And I'm excited to have this level of power and weight attached to a mountain bike that rides as well as the Santa Cruz VPP. I'm really stoked on this bike. I'm happy that I get to ride one for a lot longer. We're gonna do a longer term review and compare it to some of the other mid-power bikes, lightweight bikes out there that we carry here. So I hope you're as stoked as I am. Come into our shops and check it out, or feel free to hit us up at mikesbikes.com, and we'll help you get your new Heckler SL. Thanks, everybody.